Hey, I'm Matt. Welcome to a cool, crisp, frosty morning here at Cobb Hill Farms. Let's see what our lady hens are up to first thing this morning. We gotta get morning chores done here, and then we gotta get loaded up, packed up, and head off to the second to last indoor farmers market of the season. Back the 1st of November, the outdoor market that we attend all summer long moved indoors to the local high school cafeteria. So at least we're in a spot where it's a little bit warmer now. Let's see what the piggies are up to. Morning, pigs. Well, are their water nipples froze this morning? No. There's water coming out of there. It is opening day of shotgun rifle season around here, so Mike's here out in the woods trying to do his thing. Good luck to him. Hopefully he bags a big one. That's funny. I don't know if you can see or not. Get around these bushes. The brush out there in the north field. There's a couple deer standing out in the field. Looks like one, I think two, and then possibly a third one way out in the far northwest corner of the field. See what Bonnie and Clyde are up to this morning. Can you tell we've had a little bit of rain? We do only have 2 head of cattle around here at this time on the farm. That's the lowest number of cattle we've had probably since we started 6 years ago, I think by now. I'll get into that at some point and explain what the future is when it comes to cattle on the farm and the direction we're going. But for right now, let's go get ready for farmers market. Need that. Need the sign. Need one of those. And another one of those. Oh heck, we'll just take them all. Beef heart, anybody? That's all we got left of the beef. That's it right there. That's good in that one for now. We'll add more to it later. I think we only need 2 coolers today. Let's see, some thighs. Packs of 2 thighs. That other one was a package of 4. Leg quarters, gotta take some leg quarters. Do another half chicken. Those are hit or miss whether they sell or not. I think that ought to be good. Don't want to forget Stacy's chair. That should be everything. As I said earlier, we are out of beef. We've been out of beef for a while. It took 5 markets for us to sell the whole lot of beef we had. So no beef and very little legs for today. Well, we're back for farmer's market. It was a little bit better than last week. 1 more week to go. We always look forward to the end of market season. Nice little time off, little break. But at the same time, you know, some of these people, it's the only time we see them is during farmer's market season. So, I don't know. Next June, in some ways, can't get here fast enough. I haven't had to top off the cattle's water in a while with all the rain we've been having. This garden hose system works really well for us. It's endless. You can add lengths anywhere. You can add T's and Y's. And the nice part is it's relatively inexpensive. Until we know exactly where all the buildings are going to be and we think we're done expanding, we're not going to put in any frost-free hydrants or bury any pipe in the ground for a more permanent system. So for about 9-10 months out of the year, the garden hose system works really well. But it's not going to be long, and we'll have to pick all this up, wind it up, and put it in the barn and get converted over to our water tank system. A number of years ago, when we first started with cattle, getting water to them on a regular basis was the biggest hurdle we had to overcome. So I came up with a plastic 55-gallon drum. I mounted it to the cart that we use to haul the chickens around here on the farm now. And I used a 110-volt electric transfer pump to pump the water from the tank to the cattle stock tanks. It worked pretty well, but it did have its drawbacks. A number of years later, I ended up mounting that same drum to a plastic pallet, built a cradle for it to sit in. It was a nice setup. Again, using that 110-volt transfer pump. Well, last winter, I acquired this 100-gallon water tank that has an 1.25 inch outlet, and we let the water gravity flow out of this, and that works so much better, so much faster. We can dump about 75 gallons of water in about 2 to 3 minutes time. So much faster. Well, that came with this framework here that it was mounted to. It has some nice straps, but the drawback to that was there's no way to keep it up off the ground. So what I want to do is create a framework out of 2-inch angle iron that we're going to weld to the base of this to give us about, I don't know, 6-8 inches of clearance so we can come up with the tractor, pick it up from the bottom, and carry it around and do whatever we want with it. So the first thing I want to do is take this platform and set the tank on the platform, because there's these saddles on all 4 corners that locate the tank centered on this framework. This framework is longer than what it needs to be for what I'm doing. So I want to get some measurements, and I want to cut excess framework off of each side and shorten this up, and then we can add the angle iron to the bottom side. Well, let's set it in place and figure out which way we want it to face. Setting this on the first time, I notice that the outlet of the tank, the way the hose bends, is a pretty good fit here. It's not tucked back too far, it's not sticking way out. I kind of like it like that. So I may not have to do anything with this side. The back, on the other hand, has quite a bit of overhang from the back of the tank to the face of this piece of angle iron here. If I left that, the problem I would have coming in from the back side with the forks, because I would want the outlet to be on the far side of the fork, so as the water level gets down, I can tip the tank down to get the water to run out. By leaving this extra, I don't know, 10, 12 inches on here, it puts all the weight out farther on the forks. So I might want to cut this off and shallow it up, so that way I can get the tank and the weight as close to the bucket or the framework of the forks as possible to keep my weight back on the fork. So I'm going to lay a straight edge across the back of the tank so I know where the back of the tank lays on the framework here, so I don't go that way too far. And it's sitting on both flat spots on the tank even, but we'll see how square we are by checking it with a square, and that's pretty good, so we'll call it good right there. Hopefully I can see that. Yeah, same thing on this side. I guess we'll start with a Sawzall and see if that'll work or not. Is it gonna work? Well, that's a little bit thicker than I was anticipating it being. We'll have to see. I might try something different on that side. Well, I wasn't expecting this box iron to be as heavy walled as it is. That's why I tried tackling it with the Sawzall first. But I wanted to achieve just a nice clean cut and I could move on from it. But with it being as thick as it was, that's why I switched to the torch. So, all right, I got this framework flipped over bottom side up. So now I can do some measuring and figure out where I want my legs to be. So 29 inches wide and probably we'll go 6 inches high. So 6 and 12, 6 and 6 is 12. What'd I say, 29? Yeah, we'll do 28. I like 28 better. And here's my piece of angle iron I'm gonna use to make my legs out of. This is 2-inch angle iron, 1/4 inch thick by 10 feet long. Now I need a piece 40 inches long, which 40 is right here. Now because I have more material than I need, I'm gonna make it just a little bit extra in length because I can always cut it off, but I can't add any more without welding to it. So we'll make our marks on this. So now I gotta do just a little bit of measuring. I guess I should oil up that vise a little bit too. All right, first off, what's my overall length? We'll call it 43. So half of 43 is 21 and a half. So we'll mark halfway. Now I need to be 28 overall width. What's half of 28? 14. So we'll set the tape measure at the halfway point at 14. Measure at the 28 mark over on this end. And our 0 mark down on this end. Chip all the slag off of here. Well, let's see how this works. Survey says not bad. I can easily fill that gap in with a welder. Not bad that way. Looks pretty good. There. How's that 90-degree corner look? Alright. How's it look? Pretty happy with that. Corners look nice and square. I got plenty of surface to weld to. I think I'm happy with that. Well, it's all built. This morning I went and got everything all welded up, and last night when I got this first leg all fabricated up, I started in on the second one. It started to rain so hard you couldn't hear yourself think with the rain pounding on this tin roof in the shop. So I got that all done, and I also had enough steel out of that 10-foot section left that I added a bar to the end of the mounting frame that I cut off, so that way instead of the forks hitting on the tank, it hits on this bar. So now we're going to take all this bare metal and wipe it all down and put a coat of paint on it. Yeah, we'll put a coat of self-etch and primer on it to start with. All right, I half an hour of letting the self-etch and primer dry. Now it's on to the final color. I need to make aerosol cans that you can hold upside down and paint. Really kind of inconvenient. Alright, let's set this thing on the ground and get this project finished up. Now this original mounting tank had these nice steel bands that went over to help protect the tank. So we might as well reuse them. There, I think we're just about done. Well, I'm gonna say this project is complete. The tank fits on here just like I was hoping it would. It turned out fairly well. It's another job that I can check off the list that needed to be done. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.